When someone dear to you passes away, whether it's a close friend or a family member, the anguish can be overwhelming. It doesn't matter if you've shared a lifetime of memories or if their time on Earth was abruptly cut short. Death is an unsettling experience. It leaves behind more questions than answers, and finding solace after losing a loved one can be incredibly challenging. Many people struggle to cope, and if they're navigating the grieving process alone, healing can take a considerable amount of time. Nevertheless, there are moments when a small act of kindness from a stranger can make a world of difference. Consider the story of a grieving mother who found herself in tears until another mourner performed an exceptionally compassionate gesture. This account encompasses tragedy, compassion, and a renewed sense of hope for humanity. Prepare to be astonished by this narrative. The United States Air Force Staff's Sergeant Joseph Villisner was killed in a car accident. As an Arlington, Texas native, his body was interred in Conroe, Texas, at Garden Park Cemetery. His parents and wife he left behind were absolutely devastated over the tragic turn of events. The grieving parents, with their hearts broken, had no choice but to accept the situation that they were forced to bury their son. Their sudden loss had changed their lives forever, even if they are old already. Raymond and Rachel made it to a point to visit their son's grave often. They always brought fresh flowers with them, and usually spend the whole day reminiscing happy memories. However, when the weather started getting very cold, they didn't visit for a while. But as soon as the weather went warm, Raymond and Rachel went back to their son's grave. When they got there, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The ground all over the cemetery was brown. The grass had died over the winter, and it wasn't warm enough yet for them to grow back. But to their wildest amazement, there was some lush green grass in the cemetery. It was right on Joseph's grave. Rachel couldn't understand why her son's grave was green. When she discovered the truth behind it, she couldn't help but burst into tears. At first, Rachel thought it was a miracle. How else could the grass be green only around this one grave? Well, they found out later there was a reason the grass was green there. Someone had taken the time to take care of it. This man was Jake Reisig. Jake Reisig had lost his wife of 65 years in 2014 and had never quite recovered from her unexpected passing. His wife Betty had meant everything to him, and their life together had been the picture-perfect marriage. He used to give his wife Betty a rose every day that they were together, and he refused to give up a tradition even in death. However, in 2015, he decided to change up his routine by adding another task. That summer, a sweltering drought hit Texas that caused all the grass in the cemetery to die. It made for a depressing sight, the brown grass surrounding the headstones, and Jake couldn't bear to see his wife's resting place looking so drab. Therefore, he came up with a solution. Jake watered the grass around his wife's grave to make it look green again. While doing so one day, he saw a young woman crying uncontrollably by a nearby headstone. The display of raw emotion touched his heart, and he quietly approached her, hoping there was some way he might calm her down and bring some comfort. After talking to her, he found out that her husband, Joseph, was dead for 5 years now, and she misses him. Jake revealed to her that he lost his wife the previous year, and together they were able to provide some comfort to one another. Her grief took the old man's breath away. This was a hole that Jake knew all too well, because he had a hole in his heart as well since he lost his wife. Also, after she left, Jake decided that he wanted to do something for this wounded, broken-hearted woman whose life was turned upside down by the loss of her husband. He decided that each day when he waters the grass around his wife's grave, he would water the lawn around Joseph's tomb as well. He figured out that it was the least he could do for this grieving family. So when Joseph Villisner's parents went to visit their son's grave, they couldn't believe what they saw. They had no idea how it happened. Jake walked up to the bewildered parents and explained to them how he'd spoken to their daughter-in-law a few months ago. He also told them about his daily routine and how he decided to do the same for Joseph's grave. Jake felt that it was the least he could do for a man who served his country. He revealed that he had lost someone in the armed forces as well, His daughter had been married to a U.S. veteran named Benjamin, who unfortunately discovered he had cancer shortly after being deployed. Although he went through chemotherapy, he passed away in 2011. When Jake had learned that their son had served in the military, he felt watering his grave would honor his memory. Raymond and Rachel were overwhelmed by Jake's extraordinary act of kindness for their family. They couldn't fathom how they could ever repay him, so Rachel tightly embraced him, tears streaming down her face. The Villasenor family expressed their heartfelt gratitude to Jake, emphasizing how much his gesture of watering their son's grave meant to them. In a world where most people are consumed by their own lives and personal struggles, individuals like Jake are a rarity. He stood apart from the rest, selflessly extending help to others. Jake's son, Roger, recognized that his father's good deed should not go unnoticed. Although his dad was a humble man who never sought recognition for his acts of kindness, Roger wanted to celebrate his father's goodness. Motivated by this, Roger took to Facebook to share his father's story. He proudly praised his father for honoring a complete stranger, treating him with the same love and care he would give to his own children. He also emphasized the significance of cherishing each day and expressing love for family, as one never knows when they might be taken away. We would love to hear your thoughts on Jake's remarkable action. Please feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Thank you.